Good morning, afternoon, or evening. A time zone friendly welcome to the ESL Guild Wars 2 Pro League. My name is Munchables, and joining me once again is Jebro. How are you doing, man?
I'm really good, my friend, really good. Another set of games today in the week 2 of the Pro League, and yeah, how are you? Good?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you. Awesome. I'm excited to get back into the games, get into the action, and get into this second week of the Pro League. Now, in our first week, we kind of saw the league divided in two. We have 4 winners and 4 losers, obviously 2 games on the board for each of them. We didn't see a single series go to 3 games last week, and this time we should have some closer matchups coming up for you guys.
Yeah, I feel like we will indeed. We've got, it's all about the top seeds versus the top seeds that came through in that pre-qualifier, like we're kind of saying, and yeah, it should be an interesting set of games today. I mean, last week was fairly one-sided, I would say, maybe.
I
but
could
today,
agree with that.
we've got a great schedule for everyone today.
We absolutely do, and our first game is going to be Orange Logo up against Vermilion, 2 of the pre-qualified teams. And I really think, like, match of the day is going to be sort of rank 55 Dragons versus TCG. That's kind of the one that people are talking about, the one that people are excited for.
Yeah, like our featured matchup, which is kind of what we're calling them now, I guess. And you're right, we've got a lot of people who played in our World Tournament Series on rank 55 Dragons and TCG, obviously TCG being in there before, so that's quite a big thing. But 3 members coming from TCG over to the rank 55 roster now, versus their old boss, I guess you could say, and would be very, very interesting little grudge match, I suppose.
A little bit of pride on the line there, potentially.
Oh god, yeah, definitely.
But let's take a look at the format for the tournament. In case you missed it last week, we'll give you a bit of a rundown. So it is going to be Conquest 5-on-5, where you capture and hold the points to gain score. We'll assume that you have seen Guild Wars before, and we'll not touch on absolutely every single little bit of detail, but there are 4 maps in competitive play. Last week we saw the Forest of Niflhell and Legacy of the Foe. We actually didn't get to see Battle of Kylo, but this week we're going to be starting off with Temple of the Silent Storm, and that will be each series will be the same 3 maps. So it will be Forest of the Silent Storm, or Forest of the Temple of the Silent Storm, Forest of Niflhell, and Legacy of the Foe to finish the best of 3s. So different set of maps here. Do you reckon that could skew the odds a little bit for these teams?
Yeah, I mean, it really could change things up completely, because Temple is, very eccentric around these kind of buffs that come up on the map as well. Temple has a lot of different buffs that people might not actually know about if they are new to PvP and watching Guild Wars 2 especially. There's, things where you can operate a buff on the top level and also the bottom level, where you can actually, double your cap score and switch all the capture points into your favor as well. So there's a lot of benefits for these teams if they can spread around the map. And you've got to really, weigh up what are you going to go for. Are you going to go for map dominance in terms of the capture points? Are you going to fight for those caps to get the buffs, to get, more cap points for your team? It really is dependent on your comp as well. Yeah. And we might see comp changes because of that.
Yeah, we may well. And I think that's one of the things that across the course of the season we'll start to see more is teams running with different comps on different maps, maybe different styles of play. As we see these teams develop, they'll build up their own kind of style and start to separate themselves from the rest of the group. But let's take a look at our season overview. Let's take a look at what is coming up for these guys. Now, it is a $200,000 prize pool. Nearly undersold it there. That is going to be across both of the regions in a 7-week season, of which we are in the 2nd week so far. And I mean, let's get a breakdown of that prize pool as well. Let's take a look at what's going to be over in our EU segment here. Let's take a look at the first $100,000. First place is going to be snagging an entire 10th of that, and then the rest shared across. That is going to be the $50,000 that is for regular season placements, and then the $100,000 prize pool will be the one that's given out on playoffs. So the top 4 of these teams will be moving forward into the playoffs, and they'll be in with their shots at winning that their sort of slice of the pie, their slice of that $100,000.
I mean, that's just nice prizing just in that season placement, man. I mean, 10k for first and then going all the way down to 8th. And we've talked about this before, if you haven't won, unfortunately, if you haven't been able to win, you're able to pick up 2.5k as well. So, yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, take a look at that. If you get first seed in the regular season and then first seed during first place during playoffs, $60,000 shared between the team. That is, I mean, that's life-changing money right there.
Oh, it's pretty awesome, especially for some of these guys. It's definitely like, well, actually for everyone, it's life changing, isn't it? Really, like you say. I mean, it's not every day you can just win $12,000.
$12,000 per player. That is an insane amount of money.
It's pretty awesome.
I kind of wish I could play. I kind of wish I could.
I do, but I'm not sure where I'd go.
No, I don't think I'd win.
I mean, by the end of the season as well, it's important to mention as well that we do have the Guild Challenger League coming up, actually launching tomorrow, 1st of December as well. So it's going to be pretty good for teams to get up into the Pro League for the second season. And, you watching at home right now, if your potential has not been realised and we haven't seen you yet, you should definitely be getting in that tomorrow when it comes up as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And if you want to know more about that, you can find us on social media, where all the details about all of the different leagues and about this league in particular.
Oh yeah,
you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and all of the VODs will be uploaded to the ArenaNet YouTube as well, so you can catch up on the games in case you miss any of them. Well, that's enough about social media. That's enough about the format. I think it's time that we start to get into these games. Our first matchup of the day, it is Orange Logo up against Vermilion, two of our top pre-qualified teams. They're in the top first place spot. I mean, we have 4 teams in first place and 4 teams in 5th place currently. And these guys are going to be looking to secure that first place position for themselves.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, in Orange Logo wise, we actually had before the last WTS in Cologne, really, we did have Vermilion versus Orange Logo a lot in scrims, which is just a little bit of story, I guess, for you. Story time with Jebra.
Bit of background.
Bit of background. But yeah, they were scrimming a lot, and this was when Freylina was back on Orange Logo, obviously playing for the Civilized Gentleman today as well. And they scrimmed a lot. Frostball was actually over on the other side as well, and these guys all kind of switched out on the Vermilion side, and they practice a lot together for that WTS, and and they're not doing that so much now, obviously, and they get to play each other today, so they know those little bits about each other and how they're going to potentially rotate and play. Historically, yes.
Is that knowledge going to stay relevant? Is that still fresh? That's the question.
It really depends on what we're going to be seeing coming out from Orange Logo in terms of, wow, we're seeing a different player. We've actually seen maybe a potential summer, so maybe we should jump into the game and have a look what's going on here.
I think we should head onto the map. It is going to be Temple of the Silent Storm, and for you guys that haven't played much PvP, we've got an intro for you coming up.
Victory is never assured in the Temple of the Silent Storm. In this conquest map, players will fight for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Awareness is key, as powerful meditation points will spawn around the map at various intervals and grant powerful bonuses to the team that claims them. Stillness will grant your team double points for each capture point owned. Tranquility will grant your team control of all 3 capture points. The first team to 500 points wins.
And here we are on the Temple of the Silent Storm. They're aboard their skyships to kick this one off. And on the red side, we're going to see Orange Logo. And they're going up against Vermilion on the blue side. Let's take a look at the lineups here. Let's take a look at the builds that Orange Logo are going to be bringing to the field.
So let's go over towards Denji first. He's going to be playing on the Revenant, and he's going to be going for that Viper's Amulet that we did indeed see last week, as well as going for the Rune of Durability as well. You will see that he'll be going for Corruption here, Retribution, and for Herald. Obviously not going for that Dragon stance. He wants to stick with that Demon stance there to give him those extra conditions through his utilities, of course. And yeah, this is going to be... There's a lot of high risk in this build from time to time as well. You haven't got that Dragon stance to give you that defensive heal, that infused light, which is really, really useful. But still, these guys are really, really good at going for the res in terms of their support in teamfights if they should so need. But they probably want to be going for a lot more condition damage, cleave on the floor, which is going to really, really put a lot of pain on the opposite team. We're going to have to look for a little bit of Condi removal from them potentially. Rom is going to be going for Druid here, of course. He's going to be going for the Signet of the Wild there. And you are going to see him also going for the marksmanship part of this, as well as going for, so this is... We see a lot of variation, Druid is really the central part of this build. It's very supportive, Also, he's going for a lot of condition removal with Druidic clarity there as well. But the Ancient Seeds coordinates well a lot with this trait here, Moment of Clarity, as I try to read. And it doubles your daze and stuns duration, so it's easier to get off this entangle as well. So there's a lot of nice synergy in this build, and he's able to put out a lot of damage, going for that Crusader amulet there as well. So still going for a little bit of healing support for his team, but he's going for the Great Sword there. So he's going to be great in 1v1s as well as team support as well, which is where he really kind of almost wants to be. Sin's going to be playing the Holbrack with the Marauder. He's going for man mode with the Scrapper today for the Engineer, of course. Going for Alchemy, also Inventions as well as Scrapper. And then we're going to jump over towards Frostball. Still going for the typical kind of utilities there, as well as going for the Sneak Gyro. Really good for his disengage, as well as moving people around the map, potentially if they're unaware of the positioning of those players. And then we're actually going to see something interesting coming out from Frostball here, because we do have 2 Mesmers on this side. We've actually got Banes there instead of Tage right there at the moment. So this is going to be interesting. It looks like he's going to be playing the kind of Shatter Mesmer here, going for Domination as well as Inspiration and Chronomancer as well. Of course, going for Delayed Reaction, so making sure he gets the slow on the interrupt. So let's go for Moa. He really want portals on this map, because you've got a lot of places you want to be at the same time. Using that mobility is going to be very, very useful for him, as well as using Blink, of course. He can get up to different points of the map. Of course, we've got the verticality of Temple, which is very, very strong, of course, as well. And we are going to go finally over to Banes, who probably more than likely is going to be playing a bunker kind of Mesmer here, as he goes into Inspiration, Chaos, and into Chronomancer there, sorry, as well, with the Celestial and with the Rune of the Chronomancer, which we did see last week, going with the Staff and the Sword and the Offhand Shield as well. Can get a lot of alacrity out of this build, as well as the quickness, of course. He's got the Mower. He can get 2 Mowers off if he's able to make sure that he can get Continuum split off in high pressure situations. If you can get these cooldowns back, it's going to be really important for this team.
Yeah, absolutely is. And the double Mesmer is something we kind of saw in NA last week as well.
Yeah.
We saw Final Form running a double Mesmer, double Druid comp, and they were able to take the first game pretty convincingly, using that to just sort of jump around the map all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's massively awesome for them. But that team was very, very sustained. It was, you know, putting those players in situations on the map where they could just hold what they were trying to hold at the time. Whereas we've got a lot more damage coming out from this team as well, especially, you know, a couple of Marauder amulets in there as well. Maybe we'll jump over to the blue team, so we don't have to wait these guys to wait. It's nice to theory craft and think about these builds sometimes, especially at the moment, because the meta is changing.
Yeah.
It's such an alarm rate. But there we go. Going to go over to the Elementalist now. Snowball on the team of Vermilion, of course. He's going to be running Celestial with Rune of the Soldier, of course, with those shouts removing conditions. Looks like he's... Oh, no. He's going to be going for Cleansing Water, so going for the regeneration there. And the condition removal as it goes into the water treatment, rather than going for powerful aura. So maybe we're expecting him to probably go into smaller situations on this map rather than larger team fights, which is, you know, the idea of this map, I suppose, to a degree as well. Going for Earth, Water, and Tempest there, of course. Triffin going to be playing the Revenant here. He's going to be going Condi. It looks like we're seeing everyone go into Condi now as well, especially with some classes having a little bit of trouble trying to remove those conditions. Maybe, you know, Mesmers as well having a bit of that issue. It's pretty much the same build as Denshi. We're going for Retribution there, Corruption, and also Herald. RG is going to be playing a Inventions, Alchemy, and Scrapper build here as well, going for that Marauder Amulet with durability as well. A lot of disengage potential with this build as well. Survivability through his elixirs, and also that Slick Shoes as well, super speed, giving them some healing as well through the traits of Scrapper. Alcor is going to be playing Bunker Mesmer here as well. He's going to be going for Celestial Amulet with that superior rune of durability. He's also going to be going for similar traits as we saw on the other side as well, going for Chaos, of course, with Inspiration and Chronomancer. And we're going to see a lot of potential. We're not going to see a lot of mobility because it's not got the actual portal there, but it does have Blink, of course. And then finally going over to Curve, he's going to be playing Condi Rev as well there. And he's going to be going for Vipers with durability, of course, with that Condi set of the mace and the axe, with the sword and the shield being more defensive, of course, shield being very defensive with that hibernation, of course, which gives you vulnerability. Invulnerability, sorry. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of kills, I feel like, on this map. I mean, we've got support coming out from both teams, but it's not a massive amount of healing support. We haven't got a Druid on the blue team, which I feel might actually be to their detriment, maybe, even in this game.
Yeah, I think one thing as well, with the way this map pans out, obviously It's similar to the other maps in that there are 3 points, but with the Tranquility at the bottom, the ability to sort of instantly capture all of the points if you can somehow take control of that buff. Do you think that the fact that there's the double Chronomancer in favor of Orange Logo and then no portal for Alcor, do you think that extra mobility could be enough to swing the tide in their favor?
Especially on this map. I mean, no, I don't want to say that 100% because we actually saw in the World Tournament Series, we saw the Abjured, the American team, not having a portal at all, taking it over TCG, who had, had portal, had Helseth as their Mesmer, and they were able to beat them in a map where most people would have expected actually for TCG to win, especially with a Mesmer and a portal. So if you can sustain around the map successfully, it's completely possible for you to be able to sustain and successfully, get map rotations. So it will be interesting to see how it works for them.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and we'll be able to do so in just 5 seconds as we're going to kick off our first game of the second week of the Guild Wars 2 Pro League. We're here on Temple. We're going to see Orange Logo on the red side and Vermilion on the blue side, and already both teams scattering across the map, getting to those points, and immediately we start to see congestion in mid. Snowball going to be starting this one off, but he's already found himself outnumbered. He's going to have to get on out of there, and it looks like this is a fantastic start for Orange Logo. Snowball already knocked down. He might just be going down and out as well. And I mean, what a way to kick off the map.
Yeah, it's just moving down and towards the mid and just getting that guaranteed kill, especially on Snowball as well. We're going to see Frostball moving back over towards the temple now because we did see Vermilion go for the 2 side nodes and planting someone down over on that midpoint. Now RG he's going to have a tough job trying to survive this in that obviously going for that Marauder element. You can see from afar that Frostball is just able to lay down a ton of damage. Alcor comes in as well, doing a good job at trying to support there with the gravity as well. So I'm stuck into his perspective there, but going to RG's point of view as well. He's being pressurized from the side as well by Denshi, the Condi Rev. And really on an Engineer, that's the perfect target for him to go for because Engineer's still tough to remove those conditions. They've got some reduction through Scrapper, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, absolute chaos on this point right now, and both teams desperate to get this one. 1 cap apiece, but take a look at the health bars on both sides getting incredibly low. Bane's narrowly surviving that one, and he is still just holding on, but he finally drops, and this could be the advantage Vermilion need to take the fight. He's immediately going to be trying to get picked up, though, back onto his feet, and the Condis across the board are just not going to quite be enough to take anyone down.
No, Rom here over on the midpoint is doing a great job as well. He rests very, very successfully there. He's using his mobility now with the staff as well and moving over towards Curve to maybe engage in this 1v1. This is where he's going to be very strong. We see the 2 Mesmers from Orange Logo as well, just poking towards the temple. We might have some issues here. Oh no, Syndrome and Denshi are actually doing a great job. Syndrome is going to hold the point for now. While we have a look at this off-cap kind of fight happening between Denshi, as we do see Frostball coming in through the portal as well. He's going to +1 this fight over here to try and give them some kind of advantage and possibly take out Alcor here, who is on the side. He's going to be very susceptible if hasn't got many cooldowns.
Yeah, Triffin could be in trouble here, playing that Revenant, just trying to dash away. He's going to have a little bit of healing, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. He's doing a fantastic job of kiting, but he is outnumbered and he is going to be finally taken down. But there was quite a lot of commitment to finish off that kill, and he's actually still not quite gone down. There he finally goes. But a lot of commitment there. Maybe they can capitalize elsewhere, but it is now 4v5 in favor of Orange Logo for at least a little while.
And now Alcor's in a stuck position, but he's going to be okay here. He got his heal well off as well, and he was able to use Continuum Split to actually make sure that he was able to get his shield skills back up and be very defensive. So he's doing a good job of it at the moment. He's able to keep this point contested, and he's been here for a while. Snowball comes in as well. So we've got the real tanky characters here for the blue team at the moment, although Snowball is getting really, really pressured over on the side, and he's got Condis on him versus Denshi, and obviously, maybe in the end, having that condition removal through moving into the water treatment has been really, really useful for him in terms of his survival here, and probably was the best option, but he's still finding it very difficult to survive here.
He is indeed. Frostball and Denshi making sure that he's having a hard time here. Sind as well having a bit of a struggle, but he's going to be able to just about survive. And both teams actually doing a fantastic job of just kiting each other out, just holding on to their lives. Baines as well going to get focused down, does have those Condis on, but should be able to walk away for this one for now. But his teammate is arriving. He's just trying to kite. He's somehow surviving this one, and he might just be able to get away with it. He's all out of energy though. He's out of evades, and the dots are ticking. Oh, beautiful, though. Manages to dodge away from the damage at the last second, and he's going to survive.
Yeah, look at that blink
Oh
control
my
from
God.
Baines here. I mean, he did a fantastic job. Plays a lot of World v World there, of course, the Mr. Baines. But we're going to go into Denshi's position here and see if they can try and finish off Snowball, who's currently over on this Temple node. Because we do see a portal coming through as well. But they do take Snowball down very fast. And this kind of play that comes out from Frostball, where he just nips through the portal, does the work he needs to, and then it just goes straight back to another position. Always engaged, Frostball. Most of the time, this guy, always using his portals. He's really back at home playing this kind of damage-orientated build now.
It really is. Now it's going to be Sin that's trying to escape the fight as the battle continues up in the
Still
hall.
contested. They've actually, Vermilion have got the leads.
This is by far the closest game we've seen in the Pro League so far.
Definitely, including qualifiers.
Yeah, we're almost 5 minutes in, and all 3 points are contested. Just 20 points between these two teams right now. And it's going to be Baines the focus target. Once again, Baines really seems to be doing a phenomenal job to maybe low on HP, but consistently managing to escape the fights. He has gone down for the count for now. We'll just give you an audio commentary as we have a couple of quick little tech issues here. But it is going to be Baines does finally go down. So man advantage and cap advantage now finally for Vermilion.
Yeah, it's looking good for them at the moment. I mean, they've had the altar. They had the altar for such a long time, where Vermilion were just pressuring on the other nodes. Okay, they lost some kills there, some considerable kills, but it's looking okay currently at the moment for these guys. So we're going to have to go. We'll go back over towards the midpoint. Just have a look what's going over here as well. It looks okay for the team of Vermilion. They're just trying to sustain at the moment. Otherwise, I think we're going to see a little bit of a comeback for Orange Logo now.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to get back in. They've got 1 point for themselves. The question is, can they turn it into anything else? Vermilion still 30 points up as Denshi is being focused down right now, but it's going to be Curve that is dropped to the floor. Does get res though, and now Denshi is the one that is down but not out. But immediately the res comes out, and you can see the team play coming out from both of these teams. No matter who goes down, they're almost always there to save their ally.
Yeah, and that's so important in these fights. If someone goes down, you need to make sure you can sustain the map and either way. And at the moment, Frostball does go into the downstate there. Syndranir is staying on point up top. We've got people trying to go for the res here. Rom is under a lot of pressure and goes down himself as well. We're going to see Denshi trying to put some counter pressure down with the Condis to see if Blue Team are going to disengage here. But he goes down, and this is considerable. Denshi downstate, Rom down and come out completely. Frostball as well. Baines is alive over on the Temple. They do get the buff though over. Sorry, they don't get the buff. They get the Temple auto cap there. But we are going to see Syndranir contesting that Tranquility. They don't want them to get that node that capped at the moment over on that buff. But we are going to still see Vermilion at the moment with control of this map. 2 caps in favor of themselves, as well as contesting both Tranquility and Stillness here.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic play from them, getting the 3-man advantage there. And now they have themselves a 30-point advantage, and it's only going to be going up with the 2 cap that they have for themselves and a contest on the final remaining point. If they can just maintain this for a little while now, they'll be in a fantastic position. Frostball needs to be looking to maintain himself right now because he's getting incredibly low. He's going to be able to escape from Tiffin though, and the rest of his team does seem to arrive to save him there, and he's going to be able to roll away once again. Oh, Curve chasing though.
They're really sustaining well on this map. Yeah, Frostball's probably going to go down here, more than likely. Triffin as well, very low. Denshin's going to need to get the kill. And now it's all about who's going to be able to get the res and who's going to... Denshin might have made the wrong decision. I feel like he used his quickness a little late there. I'm not too sure. I might have got it on time, but we did see Frostball and Denshi going down. We're actually seeing Vermilion taking this game to Orange Logo at the moment. Not the prediction maybe we thought we would see. And now we should see the successful cap of Stillness here. And we're going to see a 2 cap coming out for the blue team at the moment. Obviously, the double cap points coming out from the nodes that are in control of the team that do get that cap. Rom is in a lot of trouble over on midpoint. Alcor able to get that quickness down, and they are owning face at the moment on this map against Orange Logo.
They are indeed, and if you take a look at the top right as well, Baines in a 1v1 against RG, and RG doing a fantastic job so far. He's managed to get Baines incredibly low, but Denshi arrives on the scene, and he might just be able to push RG off of this point. But the 2 cap is in favor right now. With the Stillness as well, they're going to be stacking up those points. The advantage has gone into 140 points in favor of Vermilion now. We'll see if they can maintain this, or whether it's going to... I mean, Orange Logo have to do something soon, or this game is going to run away from them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've got another chance. They've got a couple of chances to come back into this game, really. I mean, it's not completely lost at the moment. It's a considerable lead, though. I mean, 160 points, and it can come back easily with that Tranquility cap. We can easily see that happen. Frostball as well, disappearing through that portal. Goes down towards the bottom now to try and +1 and get this fight over and done with quickly. Curve and Snowball are both down here as well, and they need to probably get the kill rather than go for the actual buff there. Frostball, it's quite clear that he was going to try and go for that. Slow comes out to Frostball. He has to try and disengage to a degree here as well. Is at full HP, can distance himself and kite around the side there, but we are going to see over on the Temple node, 1v1 between Baines and also Triffin there as well. As we go over towards the midpoint, we have got Stillness popping up as well, so Orange Logo need to make sure that Vermilion don't get that. They do get the kill on Curve, so Vermilion can't commit to that. Frostball almost goes down himself, just drops out of that out of the ability there, and Curve does go down in the end. Now, Orange Logo need to get a cap. They need to get it quickly.
They do indeed. RG just narrowly escaping there as well as he's chasing onto Denshi now. Just trying to finish somebody off, but it's going to be Alcor in a 1v1 against Frostball. And it feels like I keep on mentioning these Mesmers. They keep on getting so low, but just narrowly escaping. And Alcor is going to make sure that that one's true as well as he blinks away from the action. But somebody's managed to follow him. It's going to be, he's going to have a dog all over his face. And Alcor panicking a little bit here as he is going to be able to top himself up a little bit there.
This is better now. The portal players feel like they're working a lot better for Orange Logo. They're in a better position. They've only got 4.5 minutes though. I need up to about 170 points. They've still got control. And no one's gone for this Stillness buff. And now Frostball's going to be going versus Alcor here over on this side of the map, of course. And Alcor just drops down, actually. We are going to see the Stillness free cap here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Alcor got knocked down or not. I missed that, actually. I don't think so. But in the end, we do see that Stillness will be in favor of Orange Logo. They've got the 2 cap at the moment in favor of themselves. They can grab another node. That's going to be really, really big for them. But they need to make sure they contest this Tranquility buff down here as well, which is currently happening.
Yeah, Moa has been Moa on Triffin right now as he's trying to get chased out, just trying to escape for as long as he can. And he's going to be able to top himself up, but the double Moa comes out, and he might just go down here in a little bit of trouble as Baines is there, but Alcor arrives on the scene to save his teammate. And Triffin should be able to just about survive this one now, as Baines not quite going to have what it takes. The defensive abilities coming out here for Triffin, and he should be able to just jump away from this one.
I mean, this is one thing that I really like about Alcor, just to note this. Like, a lot of people are starting to multi-class a lot more in Guild Wars 2, especially with the meta changing and Heart of Thorns as well coming out. Frostball does go down, actually, over towards the bottom side of the map, as Curve does go for the down attempts there as well. And Curve, when he gets this kill, he can +1 up with Snowball quite easily. And Denshi actually might be a really easy target to take out. So this fight's going to be very, very important in terms of seeing who might even pick up Tranquility here. Because they're one man down again on this map. And for this map, Orange Logo seems to have some issues from time to time. That is for sure.
Yeah, and it feels like as well, if they're able to take that Tranquility, it really could just be game for Vermilion. If they get that 3 cap, that could be all she wrote. Orange Logo need to make sure that they can contest this one. Snowball trying to get a sneaky cap on that, but Sin, well aware of the situation, is going to be able to deny it. But elsewhere on the map, then she's gone down. Beans as well. He's just trying to do, I keep calling him Beans. Baines is what I mean, but he is going to be able to survive narrowly. And
Frostball, that was all Frostball right there. I mean, he came back up for the res, got the feedback on the res attempt as well, and he knew he was going for the down. Frostball just stops the res attempt and goes for the knockback with the greatsword. Gets it in the end as well and gets the res. That was really, really good play from him. And Vermilion are now walking away with this game presently at the moment. We're seeing players from Orange Logo drop all over the shop. I feel like Alcor has been so instrumental in terms of the support for this team. It's been really, really amazing.
It really, really has. And now we see them taking control of that bottom section of the map, but luckily somebody from Orange Logo has arrived on the scene. It is going to be Denshi contesting this one along with Frostball, so they're going to be able to deny the cap of Tranquility, and that is going to keep them in the game for now. Only 1 cap now in favor of Vermilion. They do have that advantage still. The points are still racking up, but there's only 1 minute and 35 seconds left in the game. Orange Logo, I don't know if there's any way they can get back in this unless they somehow manage to get a double buff or some other kind of miracle. Frostball is in the middle of the map. He's capping one of the bases, but there's only 30 points remaining for Vermilion to even get.
There's pretty much almost no chance they can win this at the moment. It's just This is a really, really surprising result in this series, so far, in all honesty, on this first map. I mean, Orange Logo, I know this map wasn't the strongest for them in the past as well, but this is very, very good play from Vermilion. I love this support that's coming out from Alcor here, and how the team are always putting themselves in nice situations. Snowball putting himself earlier on in the map as well over on Temple was instrumental to that defense and kept Orange Logo members there for a while. And Orange Logo were being aggressive, but they didn't have caps in their favor for that to work out in their favor in the end, unfortunately.
No, they haven't. And
that's the way we've seen them play, isn't it? I mean, last week we saw them be so aggressive with having Tage on a Condition Revenant as well. They were just rolling over people, and they had no problem in getting the kills, which enabled them to play the way they know how to play. You know, they are an aggressive team. They rely on kills, and that is how they get their job done. But they have not been able to do that well. Denji has over on the midpoint at least. But now they need to work something out on the second map.
Well,
for sure.
There may not be any caps for Vermilion, but there's only 10 seconds left. I seriously doubt Orange Logo can net themselves 240 points in that time.
That's something I don't know, yeah.
Actually, this is the longest game we've had in the Pro League so far. This is the first time we've seen a game actually time out, and it is going to go in favor of Vermilion. So fantastic start from them. They're going to start off this series 1-0. So phenomenal play from Vermilion. Orange Logo, who were kind of coined of the favorites by few, haven't been able to really show up on that first map.
It was really surprising. I mean, we saw Baines coming in, obviously, you know, playing on Orange Logo. Must be subbing in for today, of course. I didn't get up-to-date information on that, which is something I might be able to get later. But yeah, I mean, playing with two Mesmers, I mean, it really didn't work out for them in the end, especially with that portal. You know, I said it before the game as well, almost, you know, the portal doesn't seem to matter for some teams on that map. If you can sustain the map, which is how kind of Vermilion did, and they were able to be offensive in their own way, but this almost felt like Vermilion were more offensive in a way, if that makes some sense, because they had that altar cap right at the beginning of the game for so long. I mean, if you go back and watch the VOD, you know what I mean.
I mean, I think they sent 3 there, right to mid, right off the bat, and just immediately got that kill and just immediately got the capture as well. And I think as well, like a key example of that is just every single time we saw, well, it was Frostball and Baines as well. They were always running away, always on low HP. And when you're constantly kiting like that, you just don't have the time to get the damage out in return. And if you're consistently in that position for the entire game, you are slowly but surely going to kind of bleed out.
And like you said, you know, they had that nice rush at the beginning to get the kill that they did. But other than that movement, really, I didn't really feel as if Orange Logo were quite that dominant in their fighting, especially like their skirmishes and whatnot, which is really how, like I said quite a few times during the match, in case you didn't hear it, that's how they roll, you know. Orange Logo, they get the kills. That's how they get the job done, and they weren't able to do that. In fact, you know, they were left in some very vulnerable situations where they lost key players. I mean, losing any player in a 5v5 conquest map in Guild Wars 2 PvP is pretty important, you know, for the opposite team. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the man advantage can just make such a huge difference.
And that size of a map as well.
Yeah,
it's ridiculously important.
Absolutely is. And we are now going to be moving on to our second map. So we are going to have a second chance for Orange Logo to pull themselves into this best of 3. We'll see if they can turn this one 1-1. The second map is going to be Forest of Niflhell. So any of you that are a bit newer to Guild Wars, we've got an intro for you guys.
Welcome to the Forest of Niflhell. In this conquest map, players will vie for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Additionally, on each side of the map, there are 2 bosses that grant 25 points and a bonus to all stats to the team that lands the killing strike. The first team to 500 points wins.
And here we are on the Forest of Niflhell. We've got Orange Logo up against Vermilion. Vermilion managing to take the first map in their favor. And we'll see if Orange Logo are going to be able to get themselves back into this series. This is going to be their second lifeline and their last lifeline. And right now, Vermilion well on the way to becoming the #1 placement in Europe right now. By the end of this week, by the end of this stream, we will have 2 teams in first place with 2 wins on the board. Vermilion looking well on the way to get that one. But let's take a look at the builds for this map. Let's see if they've changed things up at all.
I don't think we've seen much change at all, actually. Just looking really at the Mesmers, they're the main guys I'm going to be checking over here. Frostball still playing very, very similar build to what he did before, going for Pack with Marauder there. Domination, going for Inspiration, and Chronomancer as well. Banes. Let's jump over. Celestial Amulet there with the rune of the Chronomancer as well. Denshi more than likely still playing Condi. Vipers there with the Revenant, of course, as well as Rom, who's going to be going for the similar as well. Crusader with the Greatsword and the Staff as well, of course, going for the Druid, as well as he's got the Nature Magic there as well. I do believe he was playing Marksman there over on that side of the map. He's going to be going for a little bit more Vigor, Regen, as well as going for Protective Ward there through this Nature Magic tree. And this is a very important trait right here as well, Allies Aids, to make sure he's able to revive allies a little bit more successfully. I think we had some issues with support, and that's the realization that we're kind of having now as well. He's gone for Soldiers, so he's actually gone Power, Toughness, Vitality here, so he switched out that Crusader. So he's not going for as much healing, but he's going for a lot more tankability, so he can stay up a lot more in those fights as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how well that goes there. Maybe I was thinking Sin might change over to Celestial. He's not at the moment. Still going to go for Alchemy Inventions and also for Scrapper. And really, there's not a massive amount of change unless we do see something sneakily come out, which we will go into closer to the game, obviously, when we are in game. Snowball still playing something very, very similar as well. Cleansing Water. They're going for Celestial with Soldiers. RG still going for Marauders. They don't need to change too much up here, but we are going to still see this 2 Revenant. You know, we've seen, whenever we see teams having these 2 Revenants at the moment in the EU, they feel very, very strong, man. And it's all about the Condi for these guys, you know. We've got the Vipers coming out for Curve. We've got the Vipers coming out for Triffin. And this is something that's been played in raids as well at the moment. So Vipers getting around a bit at present. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how well Orange Logo cope with this on you know, a map where they feel a little bit more at home.
I'm sad, man. The new
don't be sad, Joe.
The new Condi Revenant build is kind of removing Berserkers. I mean,
I know.
I
know you really enjoyed it, man. Yeah, that's true. I know.
I play Berserk.
I know. I mean, I've played. We did see that really heavy Berserker, didn't we? Yeah, like you said. I mean, we had Marauders at the start with the sword, shield, and stuff, and now it's just full ham, really, with the Condi. It's kind of ridiculous, like the amount of spike damage you can get with that Torment as well. You can pile on a lot of stacks of that condition, as well as poison and whatnot as well. But yeah, next game.
Yeah, so we are ready to get onto the map. The players are ready. We're taking a look at the builds. The double Revenant, we'll see if it's going to pay off for Vermilion as they look to secure themselves the second game in this series and secure themselves their second win of the Pro League and put themselves on that first position podium here in the European half of the world.
Oh, we've got the stuff. Oh, yeah, exactly. They need to pull it back in this second game. This is probably not the series they felt like they were going to lose, and it's, you know, like you say, potentially could happen at the moment. We've got real momentum now from Vermilion. They've got to believe that they can do this against, you know, potentially against a World Tournament Series champion as well. Denshi trying to get his target here onto Triffin as well as he dodges and evades a lot of damage from Triffin there. As we see the disengage. Hopefully the outnumber for Orange Logo will work out for them in the end. Snowball needs some assistance very quickly. Alcor is in the distance. You can see him just there. Does use that staff, of course, to get back up to the top using phase retreat. And now we've got this situation, the altar again. You know, Alcor and Snowball.
Yeah, absolutely. But elsewhere on the map, Rom has gone down and he is going to be completely wiped out. So the Henge advantage might just be going on here. Curve going to be able to capture this one away. And this is where Vermilion start to take an advantage once more. But again, just chaos on the keep here. Snowball doing his very best to just keep away. He's turned into a mower, though, and he is going to be knocked down to the ground. This might just be the equalizer coming out here if they can finish him, but he's back onto his feet already. Yeah,
Triffin coming in as well there. I mean, really, that rotation for the blue team was perfect. Like, Alcor moving over to mid out of those players over on the Henge was perfect because they could hold in a 2v3 or any outnumbered situation for a long enough time that they can make sure they could survive and that Orange Logo won't be going to be able to win with that outnumbered situation. Vermilion won out on that first initial map rotation, and they did a great job of moving to mids to make sure Snowball stayed alive. We're seeing these Revenants really running around the map at the moment as they skirmish all over the shop. Denshi again as well, with Triffin here over towards this mine. And this fight over here on the mine is going to be very important, but we've actually seen again Rom being taken out. Frostball does come in for the potential res. He gets him up, and they need to win this 2v1. It's a versus curve. He's downstated now as well. And are we going to see a possible res coming out? Outcore comes in potentially for the save as well, and I think we might see him come up. We did indeed. This is massive for Vermilion to try and actually survive this over here. And over on the other side of the map, we really need to see something happening from Orange Logo so they even things up.
Yes.
Oh, Triffin drops.
Triffin does drop, and as well we see Rom go down. So it is going to be the Henge contested once more. Curve here going to be trying to capture this one away. So after that 1v1, Curve is going to finally come out on top, even though it wasn't a 1v1 for very long, and he is going to be able to recapture that Henge for his team. But now Sin, there's Condis for days taken away from him, and he might just be going down, but he dodges away, and he's looking to try and escape this one. Just waiting on those cooldowns. He does get the heal off, and he might just be able to get away from this one.
And Elixir S as well, procs for him. And I mean, really, if you're going to see any NG versus NG in a fight, I mean, Triffin going down now, Orange Logo is slowly able to get, they got the 5 points on the board from the kill. Now they need to try and dominate this map in the way they know how to. But Vermilion are rotating around the map quite well here. Unfortunately, losing out there a little bit over on that mine side of the map. But now we are going to see Orange Logo coming back into the game. Snowball goes into downstate here as well. I don't think we're going to see any support. Alcohol is not in range at all to try and help out. I think we're going to see Vermilion going over to sides now to try and defend and sustain. We're going to need to see a Frostball should be moving over towards the Henge now. He is, to make sure that he's able to get the kill onto Curve very quickly. And if they get this, it could be really, really important because they have lost Denshi on the mine.
Yeah, Sin was heading over to try and help out his teammate, but realized that even if he went over, it would have been a 2v3 and he would not have been able to survive that one. So now going to be going over towards Baines, where he can go into a fight where they might just have a little bit more of an advantage. But a 1-all so far, still a point advantage to Vermilion, but nothing too crazy just yet. Snowball, though, is going to be dropped, and Curve as well, incredibly low. This might just be the Henge taken away from Vermilion, but everybody else going to arrive on the scene at the same time, and suddenly chaos ensues. They're going to be able to keep this one for now, and actually, they might have just turned this one on its head.
Yeah, I mean, Frostball's just got the portal over towards the other side of the map, and this is where he is very, very useful on this map, of course. You know, they've switched their momentum over towards the mine. They've completely left Henge alone. They need to make sure they can tank over on the midpoint. Rom's there in a 1v2 now versus Curve and also Triffin, and I cringe because I feel like Rom's going to go down very quickly. He's got 0 support. So what are the red team of Orange Logo going to do? Are they going to go to mid to a fight? They're potentially going to lose here unless they can get Rom up, and they've risked that. And unfortunately, if they lose this fight, this is going to be quite a few points that could come in for Vermilion here on this map.
RG just kiting around over the line as well, doing what he can to try and survive this one. He's just hiding away, and he is going to be able to heal himself up, but Denshi might not be so lucky as he's over at the keep. He has been dropped down, and there's nobody here to save him because Baines has gone down as well, and this is going to be Vermilion with the advantage here, taking away the keep. They've still got the Henge, but Frostball, he doesn't want that to be the case as he starts to get that decap. Should be able to grab this one, and even the points up 1-1 once again.
They need to be careful here because this is a good move. They've really weighed that up quite right, actually, because in the end, we have now got the 2v2, and Orange Logo predicted that 2 members would go over towards the Henge to defend. But now Sin is stuck in a 1v2. We need to see some tankability. Denshi comes in as well to offer some some condition cleave, and Syndrelier now is running for his life, using that elixir gun to make some distance, as well as seeing a thunderclap coming out there to make sure that we do see some kind of gaps made. And I think we're actually going to see Sin might be okay here for now, but he needs to really back off. He's got his stealth. He needs to move off the point because any kind of cleave could really take him quite low. He's got his heal up as well. He's trying to get the focus down onto Alcohol here. He can do it now as we've got the mower down onto him. They really need to make sure they take advantage of this here, Joe, to be honest. And if they don't, oh, look at the 2-cap coming in for Vermilion as well. We've seen the movement from Orange Logo over towards the mid, and we've seen them losing that engagement over on the Henge, just moving away, and there's not much that Orange Logo can do at the moment.
No, there really isn't. Orange Logo just really losing grip of the map right now. We can see there's a contestant over at the Henge, but it's just going to be a 1v1. And then over at the mine, there is just so many people. And it's going to be Baines the first one to drop here. They're trying to pull him back to his feet. But look at all of the condies and look at the damage coming out. Denshi as well as Sin, both getting incredibly low. And this is looking like Vermilion, honestly, heading towards a 3-cap right now. They're doing phenomenally well in these fights. And Curve, he's going to be the one capping the mine. And you can see RG just trying to escape. Yeah, 3-cap going
almost,
Henge.
Almost, Jay. It's okay. We haven't got a 3-cap quite yet, but this game is feel like it's rolling to an end, in all honesty. And I don't want to say that completely, because Orange Logo is Orange Logo, and, you know, they can really turn things around quite quickly. If anyone has ever watched any Guild Wars 2 PvP, you've probably heard me say that before.
Caster's curse right there, though. The second I call a 3-cap, both of the caps that they had get taken.
Yeah. Which, you know, is the start for a possible comeback. I mean, it's still very, very difficult at the moment. But we have got over towards the mine now as well. This cap is... Actually, Denshi's going to get the decap here. So this is full contestation as well. Good job.
Yeah, so the decaps do come out, and this is Orange Logo's way back into this game right now. Curve and Triffin both getting taken pretty low here. They should be able to survive Fort now. Curve just on that mine, trying to do what he can to contest. But he's running out of allies. Alcor has arrived on the scene to turn it into a 2 versus 2, though.
Yeah. Oh, we are going to see the mower coming out to Alcor. I mean, it might be more useful there to try and put it onto Curve, but while they put it onto Alcor, actually, they can go for a lot of damage onto Curve, but they needed to make sure that came out before he came out of the mower, and actually, they do get him into the downstate here. They need to make sure they take advantage of that downstate and get him finished off, but he doesn't in the end, and Alcor does a great job of getting that quickness res, I do believe, as well off in the end, and Frostball now trying to do something on this side of the map, and Orange Logo he's very, very sustained across the points now for Vermilion, but Triffin dropping quite low himself over towards Henge.
Yeah, absolutely is. He is just going to narrowly survive this one. He's playing that Revenant, so they do have a decent amount of sustainability, but Triffin just somehow getting away with this one right now.
He's
Rom trying to finish him, but he's just not quite able to.
So it's those cooldowns. When I say rotating, it was more about his cooldowns there. Oh, Frostball actually almost gets caught against the gravity well, and he got pulled into that. And look over on the side, Denshi is just holding on within an inch of his life there, and Frostball has to blink away and really kite up top and do some long-range damage here. This is a really great play from Vermilion for how long they've kept the points coming into their favor, but now they need to make sure they keep their composure and keep the lead that they have. Orange Logo now have the Henge point in their favor, but they are losing bodies across the map. Frostball very close to getting rezzed here.
Oh, no.
Then she can't risk it.
Do it. He's going to go down as well. They're going to be able to get the 2-man white. Vermilion, they had the 1-cap advantage, but that's going to be 2 men going down. And now this could just be Vermilion pulling this one back. There's only 5 minutes left in the game. Orange Logo, they have to get something on the board here. They needed that cap. And now you can see as well, the Henge is going to get decapped.
Yeah, easy decaps coming out. No one covering that at all. And they've really gone full ham into the map. And unfortunately for them, for Orange Logo, you know, they've not really been leaving people looking after their caps either, which is quite surprising. And not really for Orange Logo, but they've not been able to get what they want around the maps and make sure that, so that they're not able to do that. Can't get the words out of my mouth. I think I'm almost kind of surprised what's happening right now on this map, because I think we're about to see Orange Logo lose to Vermilion in one of the first times I've ever seen this happen. And that's amazing. It's amazing to see. It's really, really good to see Vermilion and how they've improved so much over the last 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, they looked incredibly strong last week as well, but it was kind of one of those where you weren't sure whether they were just a genuinely really strong team, because all 4 of the winners looked incredibly strong last week. But here we see them against one of the other top 4 teams, and they're doing phenomenally well. Triple the score of Orange Logo right now. And honestly, it's starting to feel like a 3-cap is what's going to be required for Orange Logo to somehow pull back into this game. Bane's getting incredibly low over at the keep. He's just trying to kite around the edge, playing that jumping puzzle game. He is going to fall down eventually on just 3,000 health, and it is going to be Curve finding him out, stacking up those condies. Might just be able to finish him off, but those Mesmers so hard to stick to right there.
I mean, the thing about this team over on Vermilion, it's going to sound really obvious, but they've got 2 Condi Revenants. And almost in any rotation, they're going to be coming up against a Mesmer or an Engineer. and even the Ranger to a degree as well, they're having problem with condition removal at the moment. They've not got an Elementalist. They've not got enough support in this team at present. And it's not, they then probably knew this from the first game, from the first series. And a lot of this feels like they haven't got the support they need to remove those conditions. They're losing most of the skirmishes, and they're losing most of the team fights as well as the rotations around the map. Mainly because they're dying in so many different situations, especially on this mine node as well. We've seen a lot of the map won and lost over on the mine point.
We have indeed, as Frostball is just going to portal away from the keep. Decides that the Snowball is mightier than the Frostball. And it's just going to port on out of there. Gets over to the mine to try and help out here. But even there, he's still going to be fearing for his life here. And he's just about out of cooldowns as well. So he's just going to have to kite to the edge of the fight. But with the 2-cap in favor of Vermilion and just 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the board, it's looking like Orange Logo are about out of time. Frostball just getting knocked off to the side of the fight. But Vermilion, they pretty much just have to wait out the timer at this stage.
I mean, that's all they really need to do, sustain it in the way that they know that they've been doing throughout the map so far. But Orange Logo is still going towards the mid now. They need to get this decap. It's not going to happen the way it is at the moment. They're still going for it. And this has been a phenomenal performance from Vermilion. People may say, okay, we've got Banes on the opposite side of the moment on Orange Logo. Whether or not that's, I'm not. This must be a sub for today. Maybe Tage can't. Maybe Tage has had to play on some other character or something. I'm not too sure. Haven't actually checked that out for sure. We will check that out and give you that information later, of course. Which changes up a lot of the way they would have been playing from last week.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, when you're adding a different player to your roster, even if it's just as a sub, you might not have the same time to practice. You're not going to have that same experience playing with that player, and it is going to hurt the synergy. And I mean, especially
it doesn't mean it's his fault, though. I want to make sure we say that as well. Yeah, of course, we definitely agree on that.
But it hurts the kind of the team play. Like you have to know what your teammates are thinking. You have to be able to sort of work together without having to communicate a lot of the time, and especially in such a team-based game, it's so crucial to have that synergy. And Vermilion really showing that they definitely have the synergy on this one.
This has got to be the first. I mean, this has got to be the first real upset we're probably going to see in the Pro League, and maybe it's not going to be the first one of the day.
No, potentially not, but it is going to be just a minute left on the clock. The 2-cap in favor of Vermilion. And Vermilion right now, they're in a race against the clock to get 500 before the game times out. We'll see if they're going to be able to win the game for themselves.
At this rate. I mean, they're going for bosses.
Yeah,
they're even going for Svanir over on the side. So we probably will see that for 500 points coming out as well across the board. 500 to around 167 now for Orange Logo. And hasn't happened for a long time, as Rom is just looking over towards from outside of the blue spawn.
I wish she'd gone to the beach again.
Oh,
just gazed into the distance.
It just keeps happening, doesn't it? It hasn't happened today. Maybe we'll see that later on in the day.
Maybe we will. Maybe we will. That is going to be the game, though. Vermilion taking this one 2-0. Wow. So fantastic performance from them. They are going to be placed now in first position for Europe. They are the top European team right now. And we'll see who is going to be tying with them. As at the end of today, we're going to have 2 first-place teams, 4 third-place teams, and 2 seventh-place teams with how the standings were at the start of today. We've got Vermilion as our first-place team. And we'll see whether it's going to be Rank 55 Dragons or TCG joining them at the top of the scoreboard in our 3rd match of the day. But second up, after a short break, we are going to see more Guns N' Roses up against Purple Noise. Now, how do you feel about that matchup?
I'm not sure now after what I just saw, to be honest. It might be very, very one-sided, actually. I think we're seeing Purple Noise more of a kind of tail end of the table, just be, judging by potential performances, and also how close they were literally coming to the qualifier, like pretty much solidified their lineup right around that time. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, anything can happen, as we've seen today as well, to be honest.
Yeah, anything definitely can happen. We are going to head into a short break, but do not go anywhere, because right after we are going to see Purple Noise up against more Guns N' Roses. It's going to be a game, or a series to watch. We'll be back in just a couple. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the ESL Guild Wars 2 Pro League. My name is Munchables, and with me once again is Jebro, and we just saw kind of an upset there. Vermilion taking out Orange Logo 2-0.
We did indeed. We did have Baines playing in replacement for Tager as well.
Yeah.
Just to make that point, but that doesn't take anything away from Vermilion whatsoever, because they played a stalking game as well. Stalking game. In a way, they kind of were stalking their opponents, though, in that map, in those maps, to be honest. So it's not completely off the cusp there, but maybe a little bit.
They were absolutely everywhere. They were.
Oh yeah, really.
They did a phenomenal job to just control the map, and it felt like whatever Orange Logo tried to achieve, wherever they rotated to, Vermilion were kind of predicting it and responding to it appropriately. Yeah. They always had the answer for whatever Orange Logo tried to pull off.
They matched up the classes very well as well, which is very important in Guild Wars 2. There wasn't a massive amount of condition removal from Orange Logo there, to be honest, and there was a lot of condition, pressure coming out from the double Revenant team, which is also something familiar we saw coming out from Orange Logo last week in their win, where we saw that condition pressure. I mean, it wasn't as heavy in that game from Vermilion, but it was still something they couldn't cope with in a few occasions there. But yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens with those teams next week, of course. Maybe we'll see Tager coming back. But Baines is an official sub for Orange Logo at the moment.
Okay, so he did play for them, and unfortunately they were unable to take the series. Let's take a look at today's standings. Let's take a look at the rest of the matchups for the day here. As you can see, 2-0 start in favor of Vermilion, who are now the #1 team in Europe, at least for another hour or so. And next up, we have more Guns Than Roses up against Purple Noise. Now, both of these guys did lose their first game in the first week of the Pro League. So right now, this is kind of a crucial game for them in terms of not only sort of dignity, like you don't want to lose your first 2 games like straight off the bat, but also this is going to be an important one for getting to the middle of the table. It's important to be just sort of at least in the middle of the table, not one of the teams right at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, you don't want to be pushed into the situation, like you say, so early on as well, and it can be quite disheartening and maybe a struggle to get back up. But maybe we feel today these teams are fairly equal, but guns and more Guns Than Roses. I keep more Guns Than Tools because of Guns and Tools here. We felt we're quite strong, and actually maybe surprised a little bit last week by potential results as well. But they all had difficult opponents, so today really is that kind of end of table matchup, kind of grudge match, I suppose, as well. I'm kind of getting used to saying, I suppose, to a degree. But yeah, no, really interested to see who's going to be playing today as well. See if we've got any more subs, see if that's going to change anything. And also, hopefully some of the issues they had technically with their team, with their connections, are sorted out this week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did have a couple of connection issues during games last week, but hopefully that won't be a problem for us today. And I mean, more Guns Than Roses up against Purple Noise. It feels like a fairly even matchup here. Now, we had interviews with both of these guys before their games last week, and sort of the vibe that we got from them was kind of, we're coming into this tentatively. We don't want to set our expectations of ourselves too high. But because that's kind of the response we got from both of them, it really says a lot about how much of a sort of level playing field this is today.
Yeah, I mean, today is a completely different kettle of fish. I mean, and even later in the day, we've got some matches which I can't predict at the moment, and I'm really looking forward to those as well. I feel like we're going to have some close series today. And this map, this rotation is just fantastic as well, because it really can cause like upsets like we've almost seen today as well. Maybe things would have been different if we didn't see the Temple map play. And this is really, really good, really, really useful for the teams, because they won't come up against these teams again. That's it. Vermilion have now beaten Orange Logo. That's like the World Tournament Series team. That was the first series of the day. Now we've got this series, and it's a really big game for them, because it gives them points on the board. Even if you get one game, Orange Logo didn't get one game there, and the standings, that's even quite important in itself.
It really is. I mean, as you rightly say, they are only going to play each team once, and Vermilion have done a phenomenal job. And now, with one of the top sort of pre-qualified teams out of the way, and they've already got a point on the board, if they can sort of maintain that performance and really keep that level of play up throughout the rest of the season, that extra point is going to make all of the difference once we start to head towards playoffs.
Really?
And that could be the difference between sort of a $5,000 prize and a $7,000 prize. It really could step up.
And it could be the difference between going to the finals or not.
Exactly.
And that's the really really great thing about this being such a short season. Every series counts. Yeah. Every game counts.
Every point matters.
Everything.
But we'll see how much it's going to matter to these next two teams. We're trying to get everybody onto the map. We should be able to get everything underway in just a second. We are going to be on Temple of the Silent Storm once again. Our map rotation for today is Temple of the Silent Storm, followed by Forest of Niflhell, followed by Legacy of the Foe Fire if the best of 3 does go to 3 games. So obviously each week the map rotation will change between the 4 maps. Obviously we've got Kylo in there as well, which I've yet to see. I've yet to cast a game of Kylo in the Pro League. But
you won't do it today.
No, it's not going to happen today. Maybe next week. Maybe
Sorry,
next week. I've just got to wait until it's the first or second map. Then we're going to.
It's just going to be upsetting for you, isn't it, in the future?
I feel like this is going to turn into a meme.
We'll just do a practice cast on Kylo again. It's fine. We'll get some of the teams in, it'll be all right.
We'll just do some scrims or something.
Yeah,
it'll be fine.
We'll win.
But we are starting to see now their players hopping onto the map, and we should be able to get everything underway. But I mean, let's do an intro of this map. Let's introduce this. So it is going to be Temple of the Silent Storm. For any of you newer players and you missed the first intro, let's take a look at what we've got up ahead of us.
Victory is never assured in the Temple of the Silent Storm. In this conquest map, players will fight for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Awareness is key, as powerful meditation points will spawn around the map at various intervals and grant powerful bonuses to the team that claims them. Stillness will grant your team double points for each capture point owned. Tranquility will grant your team control of all 3 capture points. The first team to 500 points wins.
And here we are on the Temple of the Silent Storm. More Guns Than Roses up against Purple Noise. Jebro, talk me through the builds that these guys are going to be bringing to the table.
So the table, everything's being brought to the table here today, as well as we go over towards the Druid, of course, being played by Xenix over on More Guns Than Roses. He's going to be playing with the sword, also with the torch there as well. He's going to be going for Nature Magic, Beast Mastery, and Druid. No marksman for him today. He's going to be going with typical kind of utilities as well. Really what we're looking at here is a Celestial Amulet as well as the Superior Rune of Leadership with a lot of boon duration, extra stats there, as well as the support and the very sustainability coming out from that Celestial Amulet. He's going to be supporting his team a lot. As you can see the different builds coming out. He needs to be in the team fight situations as much as possible. And Mordrak is going to be playing on the Necromancer, one of the only ones we'll probably see today. And we're going for, of course, the Scepter Warhorn with the Staff. So he's going for Celestial. So he's still going for Condi, but he's going for Celestial Condi, but still building up might stacks around his stats, as well as going for the Rune of Aristocracy there for the extra might duration and condition damage, of course. Nice new stat combination through that rune as a new addition to Heart of Thorns. Of course, going for Soul Reaping Spite and also for Reaper there as well, building up some nice amount of might stacking through his signets. He's going to do a lot of condition damage, as you can see there. His might building up quite successfully there as well. Krenox going to be playing, more than likely, we are going to be seeing that Viper's Amulet coming out onto him, so he's going to be playing Condition Revenant. So we see a Corruption, Retribution, and Herald here as well. Guns and Tools, we've seen that build playing earlier today, so I'm not going to discuss it too much. Guns and Tools is going to be playing Marauder with Durability there, with the Hammer as well, going for Scrapper, Inventions, Alchemy as well. And that really, his sustainability comes through his trait line. So you can see the extra heal at 25% HP. He's going to get a lot of protection, but he is going for Stabilization Core here, which is actually quite a lot of difference. We normally see Recovery Matrix being used by a lot of people, but he's actually going to be going for the extra stab there to make sure that his gyro is going to be able to get the actual confirmed kill on those players and himself. So this is really a nice change for him in this map. Then we got Zuik finally coming out as well. But he's going to be going for the opposite side in terms of... There you go. There you go, mate. He's playing Zerker.
Yes, Berserker.
He's playing Zerker.
I love it. I love it.
Praise be to Zuik. Joe is a happy man again.
I certainly am.
But he's going for Hammer. I mean, he's going for hammer in this one. He's not going for stuff. He can line of sight a lot more, so maybe, you know, the hammer might be quite useful here as well. And then we've got a lot of control that comes out from the hammer. We've got knockdowns as well as, you know, we can get some potential lifesteal for him, which helps him to be sustainable. Then we're going to go over to the blue team here from Purple Noise. Honey, we did hear from her last week talking about how they feel about the Pro League, of course. And we're going to go into Arcane Water as well as Earth here. She's also going to be going for the End Diamond skin trait, as well as going for that Cleansing Water rather than the powerful aura, of course. She still has some auras coming out, of magnetic aura coming out from the Star Free on the Earth attunement, of course, as well. But she's going to be going for cantrips here, and this is really, you know, she doesn't need to go for the auras in this build. She knows what she's doing, and we're going to jump quickly over towards Demon Lord. He's going to be playing Necro here today as well. He's going to be going for Spite, Soul Reaping, and also for Reaper as well. And he's going to be going for the staff, of course, with the scepter, offhand dagger. This guy's a boss with the legendaries, apparently. Going for Carrion Amulet, full Condi ham there, as well as going for the Rune of Aristocracy with the Might stacking and Condi. Might stacking is really good in this build, of course, going for Deathly Chill, which is what we're seeing a lot of these members coming out and playing Necro at present. He's going for the Shout, actually, Chill to the Bone, and obviously it's a really, really nice from the Necro on the other side of the map. You know, really, really good effect that can come out, you know, stunning your opponents in AoE as well. Scovo is going to be running our Dagger Focus element to this here, going for Water, Earth, and also for Chronomancer as well. He's going to be going for all the things orientated around auras, going for powerful aura there in the water line on the traits, of course, going for Celestial with the Rune of the Soldier as well, and going for two of the shouts over in the utilities as well as Wash the Pain Away. Very, very useful heal as well for support of his team. Then we're going to go over to Badaka here. He's going to be playing Bunker Mesmer. A lot of sustainability coming out across this team actually at the moment in terms of celestial stats as well. And we've seen this build playing earlier today. As we go into Chaos Inspiration, and we do go over to Chronomancer as well. Able to get a lot of distortion out these guys as well. And that really helps in terms of their survivability as a team, as well as reducing those cooldowns. So that's not something that the red team do not have at present. Minzy, final member of this map, is going to be playing Engineer. He's going to be playing with, of course, Inventions and Alchemy there, as well as Scrapper, Marauder Amulet as well, and the Rune of Holbrack. Feels like they're all moving towards Marauder over in the EU now, for sure, as we get the sustainability coming out from these two trait lines.
So there we have it. That is going to be the builds coming out for these guys. More Guns Than Roses up against Purple Noise. And we are ready to get this action on the go. Ready to jump on the map and see who's going to be able to take the first game of this series. Just letting everybody know that we're ready to rock and roll and get this game underway. We're just waiting for the players to ready up now. In just a second, we'll be able to kick off the action. Now, taking a look at the compositions, how do you expect these two... How do you expect the style of play to change for these guys?
I feel like a lot of it is going to rest on the Mesmer again in this situation. I mean, just to note, we've got, again, a team with a Mesmer, with the Bunker Mesmer, not with the Ranger playing on Druid as well over on the blue side. We've got a lot of sustainability there. So blue team are going to be able to sustain the map quite easily. So red team are going to have to be very aggressive. If they can't win these fights quickly, we might even see Purple Noise take this game.
Yeah, we definitely could. And we'll have to find out in just 5 seconds as the game is about to be underway. Purple Noise on the blue side, More Guns Than Roses on the red side, and the game has begun. They're onto the map, and we'll see what the different starting strategies are this time. In our first game of the day, we immediately saw a down over at the gate, but this time we're going to have a 2 versus 2 to kick things off, and immediately we're going to see the equal sort of one cap on either side of the map.
Yeah, Xeonix is actually being pressured really harshly, actually, and Zuik's going to go up for the top damage onto Demon Lord there because he knows that he's going to be... He's just free casting at the moment. Unfortunately for Xeonix, he's able to survive here quite well. Zuik's doing a good job. He's just pressurizing the Necro, and Xeonix is just keeping the points sustained. But he needs to bail off that point, so Mordred comes in for the support there as well to make sure they can easily flip in and out of the point. Rotating off node. Good pressure is applied to Demon Lord, and actually red team do survive this in the end and get the down state of Demon Lord here. He drops very low. No possible risk comes out. So there's so much cleave in terms of Condi. Scovo goes down, and Honey comes in for a last-ditch effort. Feels like she needs to just escape this rather than really I don't feel like this is going to be a great move for her. She needs to move out, but she's not able to. And we've got a 3-man wipe coming across the map, as well as Minzy, who's very low over towards this altar point in the moment. Look at the Badaka as well, going downstate here.
Oh my goodness, across the entire map, we're just seeing more Guns N' Roses straight up out team fighting Purple Noise. A 2-cap already, and we're seeing the 3rd cap might just be well on the way. Guns N' Tools is going to be able to finish this one off. We almost saw a 3-cap just to start the game there. Honey is going to be able to get the D-cap though over at the Temple.
Yeah, indeed. We've still got this contention here. I mean, it was very difficult. Like I said, you know, blue team, they were sustaining, and red team had to get those kills. But what they did was they're actually, you know, in an outnumbered situation. They just held strong over on this point. Zook was just on the side. All the damage was focused down onto the Druid on mid, onto Xenix. And they just were very, very patient. It feels like they should have just jumped on the Rev, in all honesty, there with the stats that he's running. They could have got the kill on Zuik, and then the Ranger would have been in a little bit of an awkward situation. Guns N' Tools now comes in to help finish off Demon Lord. That's going to rally Zuik there. They're not going to pick up the additional caps. They want to do that, that's for sure. Zuik might as well to regenerate his HP there as he gets out of combat. Now we're going to see Guns N' Tools rushing towards mid, as well as the red team Necro here. Mordrak really could be in a little bit of trouble here as he does try to move back down towards the point. So grab some support as well as also steal some health from those opposing team members. Necro's doing a very good job at the moment, but Darker very low as well over on this midpoint. And it feels like if he goes down, we could have a few issues coming out.
Yeah, was able to survive, though, with that blur, so going to be able to dodge a few attacks there. Just going to be doing his very best on this Mesmer to just keep away, and this is what we've been seeing in general. Well, Moldrak might not be so lucky on the Necro. He's been dropped down to the floor. Xenix, just look at the Condis across this entire team. Honey is having to, like, really pull this one out, too. Heal up her team. Badaka down on the floor. Minzy as well getting incredibly low. And this could just be a bad fight for Purple Noises. Badaka does go down. Minzy is going to be able to be topped up again though, as is Skovo. So they are going to be able to stay in this fight for now. But as I say that, Minzy is going to be dropped to the floor. We already have a 1-man wipe. Moldrak though might just be the answer that they have to make for this one. And they might just be able to even up the numbers. But immediately he gets rezzed again. Yeah,
this is massive for, at the moment, red team. All about the support for each other at the moment. Getting the reses, two revs being in that position means that blue team, any cleave they put down is helping their team, the opposite team members get up here. We've got the stillness spawn as well. Any contestation coming out from Purple Noise, we do have that. Demon Lord comes in from with the damage from afar. Zook needs to be careful. He is kind of susceptible to Condis, but he can do a lot more damage when he's actually got those on himself as well. We need to check those traits to make sure that is accurate. But as well, Demon Lord getting pressurized from behind, and we did see Honey going into downstate there as well. Zuik finishes her off, and we are going to see blue team members pushed away from Stillness, as well as the free cap coming in favor of themselves, but will be taken down to a 2 cap, now back up to a 4 cap, because they've got the Stillness. Sorry. Wow. To and from there.
Yeah, so they're learning to count pretty well, going 2, 3, 4 with the caps right there.
Learning to count there.
Learning to count whichever own much. The kill was too early. Well, we are going to see a bit of a chaotic fight kicking off over on the blue team close point. Cranox is going to go down, and that is going to be the man advantage in favor of Purple Noise. This is maybe their opportunity to start to get these decaps and start to pull themselves back into this game here. Moldrak just soaking up damage with that life force, but Skovo might just be the next one to go down. He's doing his very best to kite around this fight, and he's doing a good job of it. Moldrak is down, but he's going to get rezzed once again as Guns N' Tools just managing to distract so much of the damage.
They've just not got the answer to those kills, you know? I mean, we've now seen Skovo go into the downstate. As soon as red team lose someone, you know, bang, they've got someone from Purple Noise back on the floor eating dirt. And that is exactly what's happening right now. And Minzy's going to be the next target. Unless someone can come in for the support, then Bunker Mesmer has to bail off. And again, you know, Purple Noise lose one of these really important fights. And unfortunately, it looks like the game is running away from them. They still have a cap on the board at the moment. And Tranquility and Stillness mean that it is possible for teams to come back. With Badaka going into downstate, though, Honey has to retreat here back towards mid. But look at Zuik. He's pushing forward. And being, you know, they've got momentum. They need to push for this next kill, and they need to push for this decap to maybe get the concession at the very least and take them even further into the lead.
Yeah, they really do. And I mean, if they can, they might just be able to get in the game. But as you say, 2 cap in favor of more Guns N' Roses. And Purple Noise, it feels like what we saw last week from them. Just not enough damage, not able to finish off those kills, and it means that they just slowly but surely start to lose out on the games. If you consistently lose just a single member in each fight, you're not going to be able to contest later on in the game. And Demon Lord has now respawned, so he's going to be able to join the fray once again. But Badaka, after taking that fall damage, has now found himself in a battle over the Tranquility down in the bottom section of the map. But I would expect that one to just sort of go on as a bit of a stalemate for quite a while here.
See, this is good. They've got the Druid down there. So now blue team need to be aggressive perhaps on the entire map, which is what they're starting to do. They're pushing Minzy out, so they've got less support. Scovo now is trying to hold over towards that stillness buff. We've got 400 points now for Red Team. It's probably over, but they need to try and work out some kind of better matchup for themselves at the moment. Guns and Tools now coming over towards the altar as well. We've got the decap, so that's quite a good start. But if they can get Tranquility and keep points in their favor, they will be able to take this. But unfortunately, again, in that situation, Demon Lord goes down. And we're not really seeing a lot of damage coming out from their team, which is what you said before as well. And they're not able to finish their opponents off. So they're having some problems in terms of damage. We have seen this before from Purple Noise.
We have indeed. Demon Lord finally going down there. Moldrak now just getting over towards mid to help Zuik take on Scovo there. Going to be able to fight over that stillness buff. And I would expect him to be able to win that one out. But actually, Scovo doing a good job to burst him down a little bit there. Kranox, however, might not be as lucky as his teammate, as Minzy doing a fantastic job here. And he is going to be able to win out that 1v1. Should be able to get the execute as well. And that could just be a cap. And that could be the decap, actually. That could be the third point. Decontested there.
That's a lot of work they've got to do, but I was looking at Zuik as well. Zuik grabbed the mid cap as well before blue team were able to pick up another point, so still gaining that lead that they've got. Demon Lord grabs the side node, and now blue team have to push the mid. Then their last real chance or opportunity to come back into this game, and all red team need to do now is turtle on this midpoint and keep it in their control. And we've got even stillness at the moment, we've still got congestion for that, and it feels like this is going to be a more Guns N' Roses game. Guns and Tools standing fast over towards that midpoint as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, with just 40 points remaining, even with that 1 point, it is going to be bad news for Purple Noise. They need to make sure that Morgans and Roses can't even get a single point on the map right now. As we see Moldrak and Demon Lord sort of duking it out with that life force. Moldrak is going to go down, though. So at least they do manage to pull themselves a man advantage. Xeonix as well, going to be chased away. If they can get that Tranquility buff, that could be what is required.
They need the mid decap.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the one thing they need right now. And they're winning around the map. Like you said, you know, Xeonix very low here as well. But Minzy is dropping very low Elixir S proc there as well as he moves away from the side of the point. Does get stunned there with Thunderclap. Guns and Tools is doing a great job at the moment as well, but Minzy does start to regenerate. They need to take these targets out, and they need to take them out now. They get the free cap as they've got Tranquility as well. So now, there's no one on the temple at all, and no one is even close. Blue team are trying to get there as fast as they possibly can, knowing that this is the only potential for them to come back into the game. But Moldrak in the right position. Is Scovo going to be able to get a point? No! Yes! No, they get the cap. They've got the cap, they've got the tick, they've got stillness as well. And that is definitely the end of the game, unfortunately. It was almost a last-ditch effort, but it was way too close towards the end of the game.
Oh, imagine if they pulled that back.
I mean,
that was so close towards the end. While the points obviously were pretty heavily in favor of Morgans and Roses, it felt like if they could have played like that the entire game, if the last couple of minutes had been the story of the entire game, that could have been like a 400 to 500 point victory to either side, really. But the start of the game just went so heavily in Red Team's favor.
I mean, the Red Team, towards the end of the game, it almost feels like they kind of, I guess, teetered off to a degree.
Yeah.
You know, they went to mid, they felt like the game was theirs, they had it in their favor, and maybe they let it slip a little bit. But, you know, I actually feel like Purple Noise, to a degree, they were doing better in those bigger fights, where they could sustain longer, they had support, so they could slowly burn them over time, and you know, the Revenants maybe having a little bit of a difficult issue, Moldrak going down a couple of times towards the end. So I felt like maybe their matchups, or maybe how Red Team started to defend, wasn't in their favor, particularly in that case. So It would be interesting to see how well it goes on Forest. Maybe the red team, Purple Noise, need to think about splitting between, you know, trying to go for close and mid, sustain those fights a lot more. Don't try and go across the whole map and try and go for this sustained free cap game that maybe they were trying to a degree over on Temple.
And I mean, Temple is very much it's a much more spread out map than Forest is. We see a lot more of the bigger sort of team fights in Forest, which is exactly what you were saying. Their comp was more fitted too. So maybe it was kind of just a compositional issue that we were seeing coming out from Purple Noise, and maybe this is going to be the map that they need to put a win on the board, but it is going to be 1-0 in favor of more Guns Than Roses. So fantastic start to the series for them, and we'll see if they can keep it up. Our next map is going to be Forest of Niflhell, and we have an intro for you guys, so let's take a look at what we've got.
Welcome to the Forest of Niflhell. In this conquest map, players will vie for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Additionally, on each side of the map, there are 2 bosses that grant 25 points and a bonus to all stats to the team that lands the killing strike. The first team to 500 points wins.
And here we are on the Forest of Niflhell. More Guns Than Roses versus Purple Noise. More Guns Than Roses on the red side with 1 win on the board already. Let's take a look at the builds that they're going to be bringing to the table. Let's take a see, or let's cast our eyes on whether or not they've changed anything up for this map.
I don't think we can see a massive amount of changes. Nature Magic coming out for Xeonix here, as well as Beast Mastery and Druid there. Then Cronox is going to be playing Condi Revenant as well. They went into the last game doing a pretty good job for themselves. They're mixing up the stat combos here, though, as well, as we see Celestial coming out for the Might Stacking Necro, as well as Aristocracy Rune. And then we're going to go over to Guns and Tools, who's playing the Durability Rune with Scrapper, of course, the Engineer, with the Marauder, as well as Zuik, who's going for the more Zerka-orientated. He did a good job over on mid. It was impressive for him to see how he's actually like that, you know. He's quite, it feels like he's quite a chilled guy, you know, just generally talking to him. And then the mid fight, like, he was just on the side. And the Druid was on the mid. Xeonix was taking all the pressure. And there was no pressure coming onto Zuik, which feels like, you know, maybe in that mid-fight where they had, when Purple Noise had the opportunity to outnumber, they could have just gone for Zuik and piled on the pressure. So maybe some of their target selection is actually a little tiny bit questionable as well. Let's go over to Demon Lord on the other side of the map. He's playing Carrion here. He's really a lot of the source of their damage at the moment, funnily enough. We haven't got a Revenant coming out for these guys. We haven't got a Druid. Some of these real key builds that feel like are really essential at the moment in the meta for Guild Wars 2 in some of these team compositions. Not saying that this can't work, but the way that it's being played by Purple Noise, it's very difficult for them to get a situation on the map, and it feels like they're still generating that kind of team composition synergy that is really difficult to get really, really quickly in such a high-pressure situation as the Pro League. It's the first time this has happened to these guys, you know. They're not experienced esports players, and not many of these guys are at all, actually, in any case. But to come together so close to a Pro League, it's proving quite difficult for them, I feel, at the moment. Maybe we'll see some comp changes in the future, but at the moment, they're trying to pull it together. And I feel like we could see something different come out for these guys on this map. Again, we're seeing Dagger Focus coming out from Scova with the auras there. Minzy going to be playing Marauder Engineer. Now, a lot of damage should be coming out from him as well, but sometimes needs to be running a lot from the damage he gets. So he needs a lot of support in terms of, you know, Condis that come out. So Cronox and the Necro Mordrak, if they're in a matchup versus the Engineer is going to have a lot of Condi pressure on him. It's going to be difficult for him to stay in that fight. Then we've got the Mesmer, the Bunker Mesmer that's coming out. Now, again, this is a build that's really come into play recently, but maybe, just maybe, Blink could be replaced by Portal. Something else, you know, so they can switch players around through matchups which aren't that useful for them. Just an idea, it's something to play around with. Honey, again, you know, she's playing Staff. She's being very supportive around the map. She can contest points, but we're not seeing a lot of down cleave coming out from these guys. We're not seeing them finishing off kills. Some of the stuff which really needs to happen for them to rotate around the map successfully, to +1 and to win fights quickly, they're not able to do that. They only can survive the fights for a little bit of time at the moment. And when they get the people down, they're not keeping them down. And that's important.
No, absolutely not. And As well, I think it's going to be really important on the positioning of Honey across the map. Where she is going to be so crucial. And I mean, as you say, both Moldrak and Zuik going to be relying on those condies. If Honey can be there to remove those condies off her teammates, that's going to relieve so much of the pressure. And it, again, sort of shouts back to what we were talking about earlier, where if they can get those bigger team fights where they can all work together, they're going to be in a much more favorable position. But we'll see if they're going to be able to get that positional advantage as the game is about to begin. And we'll see which parts of the map these teams favor to pressure. We've seen multiple starting strategies on the Forest across the Pro League so far. We'll see where these guys decide to split off. Would expect people to go and cap those close points first, and we'll see how much congestion we see of the enemy's close points as well.
Yeah, Guns and Tools using that stealth gyro to move over. This is Baldrak as well here, over on towards this point. He's trying to stop Guns and Tools and anyone else getting over towards this node now. And this is a better way to play for the blue team. I said this earlier, you know, it might be better for them to go for the 2-cap strat and try and just hold these points and contest them. Okay, this means that red team are going to get a bit of a lead at the early start of the game, but if they can win and get these kills, then it's going to be very successful. We are going to see the Revenant getting a lot of control with the hammer. That's Zuik onto Minzy there. Minzy needs all the support in the world. And look, the heal comes out. And that's all from Skovo using, sorry, it wasn't from Skovo, it's from different members there, actually pulling out the heals because he got raised up very, very quickly there. And still we've got significant cooldowns left with that player. And now this is really benefiting them a lot more. Protection comes out from Skovo. And look, they're pushing them away. They want these bigger team fight situations, but they don't want to get narrow-minded here and really focus too hard on the kill because Demon Lord goes down on point. He needs to get res here. We're going to see that coming out as well as the feedback res. And now they're doing a better job. This is much better from Purple Noise.
Yeah, and this is the team fight that they were looking for. But we can see at the other side of the map, there is a bit of a 1v2 going on. Honey just trying to do her very best to keep this point decapped, but she's found herself outnumbered here. This should, however, be the henge going over to the side of Purple Noise, but in the meantime, the mine has gone the way of more Guns N' Roses. If they lose the fight over at mid, it is going to be a 2-cap advantage to more Guns, and Honey actually might just be going down here, taking a whole lot of damage. Skovo trying to get onto the scene. He is going to get there, and he gets the clutch heal, keeps his teammate alive, and keeps the decap.
And he's going to get interrupted because they're making sure he can't use Wash the Pain away, and he wasn't able to use that to keep Honey up, indeed. And we got the damage, so much damage coming out from Zuik, and also Xeonix and Cranox, really from Cranox and Xeonix there, to be honest. And in the end, of course, we had that outnumbered situation, which is really why the blue team pushed them so far away in the first place. And now, unfortunately, Skovo wasn't there in time to make sure they could keep that point in their favor, in contention, and keep the team up. And now they're getting lost. Demon Lord goes down now. Minzy, low HP over, or starting to drop to low HP, over towards the henge. Got his heal now as well, but Honey arrives just in the nick of time, which means that Minzy now can be more offensive onto Zuik. He's running that Zerker Amulet, and they need to get the kill on this guy before they get the addition of more red team members.
Yeah, I think right now, Purple Noise needs to just take a step back from the game, just work out where they are and sort of reassess their strategy, because they keep on dying one by one at this point, and Zuik is getting the decap on the hedge. This is awful news for Purple Noise. They needed to be there to protect that point. And now Zuik is going to be able to fight Honey on this one. Demon Lord Necro is going to be on the scene as well, but Zuik's team is not far away, and this is disastrous right now. The 2-cap as well as the contention coming out from more Guns N' Roses. Purple Noise really losing control entirely.
Yeah, in very easily, unfortunately. That communication feels like it was a bit off, but this massive team fight here is in favor, or should be in the favor of the blue team. They've got so much sustain, and with that first kill, they can push out. Now they need to move a member to mid, or they need to move a member to mine, but they're going to have the respawn of Moldrak coming out. They don't want to push too far, because they could lose that 1v1. So mid, now and close, is going to be a good situation for them to be in. It's a shame that they lost the cap in the first place, because they really could have done with holding that cap in to make sure they didn't get much of a lead from the red team.
Yeah, to be honest, it didn't feel like a cap that really should have happened either. No. Since they were fighting just outside it, feels like just maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Not quite sure whose job it was to stand on that point, but Skovo's found himself in a little bit of a tricky situation. A nice blink up to the top to fight over at the keep, though. But he's going to be taking a whole lot of damage. Everybody from the blue team starting to arrive. And this is the kind of situation they want. They want to be in these massive team fights. But in the meantime, you can see Demon Lord Necro has started to get the cap onto the mine. And this is Purple Noise starting to turn it around in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, if they can sustain the map as it is, but look, Minzy is now so paranoid that they lost that cap before. Surely the communication is here. I'm not sure why Minzy has moved so far way back towards the rest of the map. They know where those players are. Moldrak gets the decap to give them a little bit of a cushion. Sorry. Moldrak moves over towards the other side of the map, knowing he wouldn't win that. And Skovo does go into the downstate in the end as well. They might not lose him here. It might be okay in the end. Vaporform comes out as well. Honey attempts to go for the res as she drops down a static field. We are going to see the Mesmer as well, using a lot of his wells there on point.
Skovo's back up.
Get it back up. Quickness as well. Stability and the distortion really helps with that res. And hopefully they can move. They've got the two sides. This is great.
They're turning this around. Moldrak is now the one going down. This is fantastic for Purple Noise. They've still got the 2 cap, and they're managing to stay in these big group fights. They're not spreading out as much as they were in the last game, and now Moldrak just tanking up so much damage. The Condis are starting to spread, and just look at their health bars over for Purple Noise.
Moldrak's
They're doing perfectly fine in this fight. Moldrak is about to go down once again. Zuik isn't looking all too healthy either, and neither is Chronox. Moldrak finally is going to be executed. The mana advantage in favor of Purple Noise, as well as the cap advantage. And you can see Minzy is over at the henge to make sure that that one doesn't get decapped as well. Now they can push out to the rest of the map, and they're starting to catch up in points.
Yeah, this is important. Zuik is hightailing it to henge as fast as it possibly can. And actually, Demon Lord is doing a good job at putting the conditions on as he tries to get away. And Zuik might actually die here. You've got to be careful. He's not got his heal on from the Dragon stance yet as well. So we're going to have to wait and see whether or not Zuik is able to survive here. He's dropped very low. He's doing a good job at evading. We are going to see the pull as well as he tries to evade that damage. Still, we've got the side cap in favor of blue team. Zuik dropping
heal came off cooldown.
He's got the heal back up. I think he got healed by that in sight as well.
The heal came off in literally the last second right before he went down. He was able to double tap that and keep himself alive. That was insane. But Darker now just narrowly avoiding the fight. Everybody on both of these teams just narrowly escaping. But Zuik, now his heal is definitely on cooldown. He's going to be knocked to the ground, but his team is going to be there to pull him back onto his feet. But look at the Condis. Look at the health bars right now for more Guns N' Roses. This is perfect team fighting coming out from Purple Noise. They're so close to equalizing points.
Yeah, really, at the moment. And Guns and Tools, who's quite influential in these team fight situations, has been taken out over towards mid. Now, blue team can push. Are they going to push for mid? I think they could do that here, but they're starting to catch up. They need to make sure they can hold these side caps as well as push mid. Don't get caught out. They've got to watch out for the respawn of Zuik as he comes out from the respawn, which is why the Elementalist, Skovo, has now moved over to that side of the map. Now we've got the Mesmer and the Necro. They thought about a potential push, but they're thinking about more of a rotational play over towards the mine node here to sustain. And at the moment, it's so interesting, this pushing and this pulling coming out from more guns. They are literally moving from the mine over towards the henge and back again. This is the play that we've seen in the last 5 minutes at the very least. It's this movement from Red. Zuik moving over there. As soon as Purple Noise win the fight, they're moving back. We're going in a clockwise rotation around these points. And look at mid as they get the free cap. This is absolutely amazing from Purple Noise. Completely, they're just homed in on this mine fight. And they're taking advantage.
3v4. They're winning the mine fight 3v4 right now. They've got the 3 cap across the map. Demon Lord Necro is going to take down Guns and Tools there. And now Demon Lord Necro just actually getting a little bit dangerous, but he does have that life force to fall back on. Beautiful play coming out from Purple Noise. They've taken the lead as Zuik is being focused down here.
He's got to be careful moving out. He can't move away. He's got so many conditions piled upon him now. And he's actually getting pressured. Demon Lord as well. He's very low. He needs to be careful as they go for the kill here onto Zuik. He needs to turn around. He gets the nice field to Chronox. Chronox is not able to pursue him any further. And we're actually going to see that Reaper Shroud being... Look at this support coming out from Purple Noise. And this is really high for the moment, my friend. This is a good amount of play coming out from Purple Noise. 6.5 minutes just under. And they need to hold this. They cannot be to overextending, and Minzy goes down. And this could be something that could really bring back more Guns N' Roses into this game if they can make sure they get the kill. But they don't in the end, and Demon Lord is playing a stalking game at the moment because he is really needed. But decap over on the Henge.
Yeah, absolutely. So the decaps do come out, and it is going to be 1-1 points in advantage of Purple Noise. Now, it's going to be so crucial on who wins this fight over at the Henge. Demon Lord is still surviving on that life force. Once that's burnt down, though, he doesn't have much more health to fall back on. Moltrak on the other side is going to be doing okay, but this is the damage coming out. Demon Lord Necro starting to fall, as is Badaka. And this could be bad news for Purple Noise. They're on 400 points, but they're only 60 ahead of their opponents right now, as Demon Lord is going to go down. Badaka is in so much trouble, as well as Honey, who has found herself all on her own right now. She's trying to escape, and I don't know if she's going to be able to. Dashing away, actually. Zuik doesn't seem to be aware that she's right behind him. He just scoots off to the other side of the map. It's Guns N' Roses, more guns than roses, now have the cap advantage. They're catching up in points. This is the closest game we've seen by far.
Yeah, by far. And at the moment, now Blue Team, they can get suckered into this, but they need to make sure they can hold it. And also, more guns need to make sure they don't be too offensive and get suckered into that big team fight situation that they've been losing in this game. And now, look, as soon as they pull into it, Moldrack is very close to going down here as well. He's in Reaper Shroud, which is going to protect him for a bit of time. 6k HP. He's got so many conditions piled on him. 25 stacks of vulnerability. He goes down. Another 5 points buffers that kill. But look at this point score now as well. 440 comes out for Purple Noise, 433. And now they need to get the decaps and need to do this now. And if they don't, they're not going to be able to come back in this series, and more Guns N' Roses will take it.
Look at the defensive position coming
out
from more Guns N' Roses.
They can finish the map on bosses.
Oh, they can. They're 2 points away. If they can get both of these bosses, if they get the killing blows, they're going to be able to take this game.
Risky.
They're looking for the first. This is unbelievably risky. Can it get
they
started?
get it!
They get the first one. They just have to get this second boss to get a charge.
I think they can hold. They need the decap. They need the decap now.
If they can get one decap, they still mathematically can win this game, but they have to get it immediately. They have to win this team fight or take the other boss.
Or get kills.
They don't have time to get the boss right now. They have to just get kills or get the decap. They're only 10 points ahead, though. And the double count.
They get the kill on
I don't actually know who's going to win.
Badaka, though. Badaka's gone into downstate. They're going to get the kills, and that's going to give them the catch-up. No, they get the res. Oh, this is so close at the moment.
5 points.
They might win this just on the button.
This is insane.
This is a timer thing. This is a point-ticking thing. And Blue Team are going to come. No,
it's
a red team game.
It's a 1 point victory.
It's a red team game. Oh, my good Lord.
I mean, we asked for closer games. 501 points to 500 points. Can it get any closer? The answer is no, by the way. Both teams over the required points to win the game.
That was a little bit hectic towards the end, so I do apologize for that. But it was literally a point clock watching thing. If they didn't get the kill there at the end on one of those members, but one kill would have held that. And it really anything on the boss kill. They got the kill they wanted on that. Wow. This Pro League week 2. This Pro League week 2.
Do you know,
guys?
I'm actually gutted that Morgans won that game because I want to see a game 3. I want to see another match.
That was a completely different performance from Purple Noise, and they switched it up the way they needed to, and they played. That is good stuff, and that's what we need to see from these teams to make sure they can get further in Pro League, and that's a positive performance from them, really, in my opinion, to be honest. Unfortunate, but positive. Yeah,
I mean, the difference between them in Game 1 versus Game 2 was tremendous. They played that second map so well, and I mean, we saw the advantage go in favor of Morgans from the start. They got the initial win. They started to get the points on the board and got that 2 cap, but Purple Noise, for I think the first time in the Pro League, actually managed to get a comeback and then get into the lead.
Well, that's the first Ferocity to come or aggressive performance potentially to a degree that we've seen from Purple Noise to show us that they are here for a reason. And to a degree that performance kind of proved that they were worthy of being in the Pro League. And maybe I feel a little bit bad about that comment, but this is the first season and we're really trying to flesh out these teams, and that composition and that synergy that they're looking for felt that really between the first and second game was completely almost different, just in the fact that they managed 2 caps rather than 3, and their play was a lot more together. They didn't feel like they were separated. Like their targets were off, their matchups were a little bit better. And I actually think that their Necro played a stonking game as well. That man did a fantastic job. Great movement from him.
Absolutely did. And I mean, if that wasn't a close enough series for you guys, our featured matchup is going to be next. Yeah. This isn't even the series that we thought was going to be incredibly close. So right up next, we're going to have rank 55 Dragons up against TCG. Now, this is going to be a series to remember. We're going to head into a short break, but do not go anywhere because we have more ridiculous action coming up in just a couple of minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Guild Wars 2 Pro League. I mean, what a game. What a game we just watched. 501 to 500 points. There is literally only 1 point closer to having the closest game in Guild Wars 2 history. Certainly, in professional Guild Wars 2 history, that is the closest game ever.
It really could actually be, to be honest. It is, yeah, it literally is. I mean, I think we're all a bit all over the shop at the moment. Even the studio
guys.
I literally we walked out, came back, and the studio guys like, we don't know Guild Wars 2 that well, you know. They do the game, they do the production, and they do production on other games, and they were like, even we're excited, you know. We're not too sure what's happening because we're new to the game, but we are loving this.
We could just
this
feel
is good
the hype.
stuff. Exactly, you know, because it was so exciting, and that's what I love about casting Guild Wars 2. You know, you can get excited about those kind of games, and we've got 2 more series, and this is the one which I've been waiting for today.
It absolutely is. Let's take a look at our standings for today, and let's take a look at who we've got coming up for the rest of the day. 2-0 there to More Guns Than Roses in the end, but I feel like it's almost like an honorary 2-1 for Purple Noise.
I feel for them actually a lot, because they just played.
The 2-0 doesn't really represent the series particularly well.
It doesn't, yeah. I mean, and it's unfortunate they didn't get that game as well, because it would have really helped them in their standings. And, you know, it can be that crushing in that defeat, like that 2-0 isn't very reflective how, like you said, that second
Absolutely. Game. Well, next up we have our rank 55 Dragons up against the Civilized Gentlemen. Now, this is our featured matchup of the day.
Oh, yes.
If that last one wasn't close enough, this one definitely should be. Now, these are 2 teams that have been around the block. They've been in the Guild Wars scene for quite some time.
Yeah, just a little bit of time, you know.
Just a little bit.
Just ever since we've done, I don't know, ESL weekly cups for the last 2 years or so, ever since I've been casting as well, you know. I mean, and this is another thing about being here and casting this. Like, I've been able to see these players grow, these teams grow, and the different changes, which is, you know, the story of TCG, who is in this team, how many more people will be in this team in the future, and the people who have been in it in the past, because the people who have been in it in the past are now playing as their opponents.
Yeah, and that is kind of, I mean, maybe potentially a little bit of dignity on the line here, playing against former teammates, playing against potentially good friends. We'll see who's going to be able to take the edge in this one. And I mean, if you were looking for a matchup filled with veterans, this is the matchup to watch. Absolutely. Like, I mean,
all of them, every single player. I mean, every single player that's in the Pro League is. But, you know, like Helseth, again, the team captain of TCG, the main man of this team, the ex-boss, I suppose, going up against your ex-boss. Well, what's that like? What do you want to do? You want to beat your ex-boss, right? You want to show him that you're better than him, that you can take out probably one of the top teams. Like, these are 2 of the top teams in this Pro League. This match is one of the most pinnacle games of the Pro League until we see, like in the Reddit post, you know, Orange Logo games later on as well versus one of these teams. And we saw today Orange Logo versus Vermilion, which actually became one of those series, which became very important in itself because of that loss for Orange Logo. So today has actually been probably one of the most important Pro League weeks we will see in this season. Yeah,
I mean, this is the week as well where the teams are starting to spread out across the scoreboard, where we start to actually see, I mean, obviously, because it was the first week last week, you've got an immediate divide of people that won the first game, people that lost the first game. Simple as that. Now we're going to start to see, because it's the people that won versus the people that won, and the people that lost versus the people that lost, we're starting to see a divide. And I mean, I mentioned it earlier, by the end of today, we are going to have 2 teams tied for first place, 4 teams tied for third place, and then 2 teams tied in that bottom spot in 7th place. So we'll see over the next coming weeks, that should really start to spread out, and we'll start to see who the kind of front runners are in those top 2 positions, and we'll start to see who's maybe lagging behind, and then we should see sort of 3 or 4 teams that are battling out for those middle spots, and that'll be I feel like those will be the ones to really watch, because that's where it starts to get tense on who's going to playoffs and who isn't.
This fights for everything, you know. Like, it's not only playoffs, like to go, you know, to the finals, but who's going to be demoted?
Yeah.
Like with our Guild Challenger League coming up tomorrow, you know, I mean, with the release of that, teams have a chance to get in. So people are fighting for relegation, fighting to not be relegated. Well, yeah, I mean, relegation seems to be quite good, apparently. But, you know, it's actually just making sure they can stay up in the Pro League and not having to fight those people. Because there are very good teams that could hit the top of the Guild Challenger League and just be like, you know what, we're going to take your place off them. Teams like maybe Purple Noise and whatnot, trying to avoid that position. And with performances today, it's possible.
Another thing in the relegation tournament, when we get there, obviously it's still quite a while away, but when you're playing against teams that have watched you play for 7 weeks, you might have pretty much zero information on them.
Exactly.
That is a huge advantage potentially in favor of those that have done their homework, have done the research, because they've watched you play, they've watched what team comps you've used, they've watched how you rotate around the map. If they're smart, and I mean, this is going to be the teams that will be coming into the Pro League next season. They are going to be smart, and they are going to be good players. So relegations can be terrifying.
I want a table flip at the moment with the amount of excitement I've got in myself at the moment. Just, you know, the little emoji, just table flip. But yeah, we could probably go into the next series, can't we, I suppose? Why not, TCG versus rank 55.
Yeah, we are having a couple of players just having a couple of little issues getting onto the map, just waiting for everyone to get ready, just maybe restarting their routers, getting everything ready to rock and roll. Definitely don't want to be losing any series due to silly reasons. I mean, most players I know, this is definitely 100% true and not a lie, most players will have 2 routers just in case, ready to quickly swap the Ethernet,
switch it out.
Just jump on in.
It's that experience, isn't it? I mean, if, you know, going to the next level and what we're going to do in future to make sure that these kind of things don't happen. And it's on the day, it's live, and sometimes these things happen.
The double router, the old double router. It's actually not that common.
I was trying to go for it there. Just carrying on.
I'd love to see that come into play mid game. Just like, oh no, lagging, straight back in.
Why not?
No messing about.
This. Depends who you're with. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go with the service thing. But anyway, I mean, maybe you could, you know, go with the second router, have a little bit of a backup. We saw some subs coming in today. There's the link, people. And just waiting for that.
If there was a double router available, maybe they would have been in a better stead. While we wait for the players to jump on the map, let's take a look at our season schedule. Let's take a look at when we're going to be seeing the rest of the series, when we're going to be seeing the season unfold. So the next stream is going to be next Monday on the 7th of December, and the final one before Christmas will be the 14th of December. There will then be a little bit of a gap so that everybody can have themselves some turkey, bit of cranberry sauce, make sure everybody's
You're saying that
nice.
Because I had a turkey and cranberry sauce sandwich today, aren't you?
I am saying that's exactly why I'm saying that. But
I knew you'd say that. It's so good, though. It's that time of year, you know, it's getting towards Christmas, you know. People want to have a little bit of a break, you know. You've got to give people a break.
At this point, I'm just waiting for tomorrow, because 1st of December, Advent begins, I can start singing Christmas tunes and nobody can complain. I've already been singing Christmas tunes and I've had many complaints, but now, tomorrow, nobody can say anything.
I haven't heard you yet, so it's okay. I'm not here tomorrow, I don't think, so it's all right.
I'll send you a Snapchat of me singing a Christmas tune or something.
I just have to remove you from Snapchat. I feel this could be something quite interesting. We'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure if any of our players are into carol singing or anything like that. We'll have to wait and see about that.
If you're into carol singing, make sure you send us your videos via Twitter or something with the hashtag GW2PL. And we'll see who the...
Yeah, make sure you're doing that, actually. And tell us what you think about what's going on as well today with that hashtag, and also, you know, tweet at ESL and Guild Wars 2. Tell us how you're enjoying it.
In fact, let's bring up our social media page. We have the links available for you guys that we can bring up to your screens. And as you say, the hashtag is GW2PL. And you can tweet that at Guild Wars 2, at ESL Guild or GW2, and obviously there's our Facebook and YouTube as well. And of course, you can cast. You can cast if you want. Well, I mean, you can cast. I'm not going to stop you, but you can tweet at me and Jebro as well. We're always on the Twitterverse, ready for a conversation. But I believe that the players are just about ready. We should be able to head onto the map in just a second. Just waiting for one more player to head on to the server. So let's get this thing underway. Let's take a look at the intro for Temple.
Victory is never assured in the Temple of the Silent Storm. In this conquest map, players will fight for control of 3 score-generating capture points. Awareness is key, as powerful meditation points will spawn around the map at various intervals and grant powerful bonuses to the team that claims them. Stillness will grant your team double points for each capture point owned. Tranquility will grant your team control of all 3 capture points. The first team to 500 points wins.
And here we are on Temple, and let's take a look at what we've got for ourselves. We've got rank 55 dragons up against the Civilized Gentlemen. Let's start off with the Civilized Gentlemen here. I'm just going to throw a spanner in the works for you.
Oh.
Since they've already got 5 on the map, we'll kick off with their builds.
Twisting my words. Wrecking my feelings as we go towards TCG.
I'm so senseless.
Oh, well, maybe I'm just a bit sensitive. It's okay. I got over it. So we're going to jump over to Drazir here. He's going to be playing Hammer. He's going to be playing the Scrapper Engineer, of course, going for Marauder. We've seen no Celestial today. We've seen the Scrappers going full ham, of course. Also going with the Durability, as well as going for Inventions and Alchemy and Scrapper. They don't need any more tankiness with that Celestial Amulet. They just want to go with the Marauder there. And we've got Helseth, who is going to be playing that tanky Bunker Mesmer build as well, going for the Rune of the Chronomancer as well as Celestial Amulet, bringing a lot of blur and a lot of distortion to the party, of course, which is going to help their survivability and able to control those team fights a little bit more in their favor. I have to watch to see what else is being brought out from the opposite team, Mesmer, as well. That is going to be the Oracle, but we are going to see what's going to be played by Lord Asura here. He's going to be playing Elementalist, of course, with the staff. Soldiers with Celestial Amulet there as well, removing conditions through his shouts, of course. Elementalist now getting shouts, going for Cleansing Water here. He'll be in smaller fights, so maybe that's what he's going for. We see some conditions potentially could be coming out across this team, as we see 2 Revenants, and more than likely one of them at least will be condition orientated there as well, as we see Earth, Water, and Tempest played by the Elementalist here in the form of Lord Asura. Going over to Freylina, and something again I didn't really go over as well. TCG, of course, have Freylina on their team, and if you've come back to the Guild Wars 2 scene, you're thinking, Frey, where have I heard that name before? It's because he used to play for Orange Logo, and now he's on TCG, and today he's looking for that win, and I'm sure he'll be very happy about the fact that if they win today and Orange Logo lost, that's something to keep in the back pocket. But anyway, he's going to be playing Necromancer here, going for the Carrion Amulet as well as the Rune of the Nightmare there, with condition, duration, and damage, and Fear on that 6th set, of course. He's going to be stacking a lot of damage through his Signets as well, grabbing that extra might, going for Chill to the Bone there, as well as his Elite Karzez. He's going to be playing Condition Revenant here as well, going for Retribution, Corruption, and Herald, going for, of course, the Vipers with Durability there as well, and that is going to be the team of TCG. Karzez playing, it's got to be one of the best Revenants in the Pro League at the moment, to be fair. In my personal opinion, this man, how he is using every single ability to either, disengage successfully or to be very offensive, he's one of the guys to watch out for in this game for sure.
Yeah, it certainly is. And now let's take a look at the Civilized Gentleman's opponents for this game. It is going to be rank 55 Dragons, another veteran squad. Let's see what they're going to be bringing to the table.
Yep, we are going to see Bunker Mesmer playing by the Oracle. He was playing last week, and he actually played Shadow Mesmer, actually. So we're going to see this Bunker support Mesmer coming out again, going for Blink, and the rest of the things are going to be Wells. He's also going to be going for Chaos, as well as Inspiration and Chronomancer here as well, grabbing a lot of cooldown reduction, of course, from Alacrity that's coming through this build, as well as offering a lot of boons up to the rest of his team. You're going to be able to see that coming out during these team fights as well. So a lot of support coming out, like I said, and they're going to be able to sustain quite well, which is going to work because they've got 2 Revenants they need to sustain. They've got, at the moment, they've got 1 Condition Revenant coming out from Mancal. He's going to be running that Vipers with the durability, as we've seen before as well. The same weapon stats going for the sword, shield, mace, and offhand axe, of course. Condition set being this set here, and the more defensive set coming out. We've got the sword, which can give some evades as well as some nice damage over time. We will see some nice extra boon duration coming out with that durability rune as well. We have seen obviously different runes being played by these Revenants today. Then we're going to have Zan. Now he's going to be playing Scrapper, the engineer, of course. Durability as well. Very, very, you know, this is being played by a lot of people at the moment. Toughness, the boon duration as well as the extra vitality there, and the extra protection and regeneration that can come out potentially around this build is very, very nice as well. So we jump in, let's have a quick closer look as we're just waiting for one more member to come out. Scrapper line, typically this is where we're going at the moment with the survivability coming out from Recovery Matrix with that protection there as well, as we get super speed and swiftness, which gives a nice amount of sustained healing for the engineer as well, running with that Marauder. Let's just double check that's correct, it is. And then he gets that condition damage reduction as well coming out onto himself. Still, this build is very sustainable and survivable in itself around these trait lines, and then he goes for the extra damage through his Marauder as well as the Air Sigil there as well, and just trying to get that extra steel health from the Sigil of Blood. And Levin, he's going to be playing Condition Rev as well, going for Viper's Amulet, so the same combination of weapons that we saw playing on the other side. Look at that timing. Oh wow, this just adds to it, Joe. The last member that just came onto the team. Oh, this day is so hype, my friend. This day is so hype. So Texby, he used to play for TCG for quite a while and is now playing for rank 55 Dragons. I saw him as an official sub. He's playing on their team. He, of course, was playing to try and qualify for the Pro League with some other people. Didn't get that far, unfortunately, in the end. And is now a sub for rank 55 Dragons. And he played for so long with TCG. He played in the last World Tournament Series on TCG.